Already the track is falling apart.
It's always good to get through a puddle, but just looking at what's in front of us, this...
Holy not good.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Up ahead, Si's worst nightmare. His fully loaded truck is bogged. The tropical top end of Australia. Exotic, remote, hot, wet and dangerous. It's a place only a few trucking companies are brave enough to go to.
When Malcolm gets here, he can sign that.
Jocelyn Dunning's Nighthawk Transport is one of them.
It's starting to rain, so they've put a limit on the road.
Jocelyn owns the company and makes all the decisions about who goes where and when.
Could you call me back, please, regarding the Central Arnhem Road?
She's scrambling to get permission to send her triple road train to the remote communities.
In regards to the road conditions.
The only road in has 700 kilometres of dirt. It's damaged and there are weight restrictions.
We were wondering whether we'd be able to apply for consent to run 2 in.
Without permission, the trip's off.
They're not going to be heavy.
If the rain starts, it could be off for 6 months.
Hi, Vicky, it's Joss from Nighthawk Transport. I was wondering if Phil Harris was available, please.
Jocelyn needs to get an answer soon, or risk letting down loyal and valuable customers.
Can't get hold of anybody.
Out in the yard, it's full steam ahead.
It's 9s across, mate.
Jocelyn's son Lloyd will be the driver.
Yeah.
He's fresh back from an encounter with a 3-kilo bush turkey.
Bush turkey just decided to jump out of the trees there and just about come through the windscreen, eh?
There's around 50 tonnes of supplies booked on his triple road train, including a fishing boat.
It'll be a totally different colour by the time it gets there. Be a nice shade of red, I reckon, eh?
While Lloyd's almost ready to go, back in the office, Jocelyn's still getting nowhere.
Hopefully somebody will ring me back or I'll try them again shortly and we can get some answers. We are cutting it fine. We'll fill this out anyway.
Another concern is the weather. There have been heavy showers along the red dirt road, and the sky is turning ugly. Worst case scenario, Jocelyn gets her truck in and can't get it out for 6 months.
How many have we got all up, Jane?
A 200-kilometre stretch of the dirt road is in a bad way, and weight and axle restrictions have been enforced. After a day on the phone, at last some good news.
That'd be awesome.
She has permission to run 2 trailers. Problem is, the road train is 3 trailers.
I didn't mention to him that we had the 3rd trailer.
Jocelyn can't risk breaking the permit conditions, but she can work around them.
We will have to leave a trailer and dolly at Bullman and come back for that one.
Splitting the road train up, so no more than 2 trailers go on the damaged section at one time. For son Lloyd, it'll mean several dog runs back and forth.
Close on 500 k's this trip.
It also means trailers with thousands of dollars worth of goods are left by the side of the road unattended.
There was somebody running out there a few years back that tipped a trailer over and the driver just abandoned it and everybody just went and helped themselves. So, yeah, the last thing we need is any of that sort of thing going on.
Just got to hook them all together now and quick shower, get a bit of mud off me and get on our way. Haven't been home for the last week. My partner's done me washing today and she'll come that in and bring my little girl in and, yeah, say goodbye for another week, eh? Daddy's got to go in this truck, OK? It's the hardest part of the week, I tell you. Right? Up in the car now. Daddy's got to go, OK? It's all right. I'll see you later, OK?
For Lloyd, this is easily the hardest part of a tough job.
Been away all week already and then, like, got home 10 o'clock last night. You know, she's already asleep, so I'm gone before she's up this morning, so it's... Yeah. 10 minutes with her for 2 weeks, you know, it's real hard.
First day, and it's a grueling 10-hour stint alone behind the wheel. there have been early signs that the wet season may be on its way.
Yeah, during the night we got a bit of rain there in Catherine, and by the sounds of it, it's sort of come from over east, sort of the way we're heading. So the start of the road could be a little bit damp, make things interesting. With those few clouds around, it looks like got a bit of rain. It's amazing how fast it can move.
Lloyd's seeing all the warnings of a run that could turn nasty.
If it's a big enough sort of a shower, it can turn the road backwards really quick. Yeah, pretty black clouds over there.
The highway Lloyd is on has deteriorated into a thin strip of bitumen with room for just one truck.
Come across another truck, you sort of try and share the bitumen together and get a wheel onto the dirt each, you know.
Meet an oncoming road train at speed, and both drivers will need to be on their A game.
Here it comes. He's going for it too.
What little bitumen there is about to end.
We're down to about 20k already, so could make for a long day out there on the dirt.
He's deep into wild country now, with roaming water buffalo and feral donkeys with no road sense.
Another one just over here. There was one morning we were poking along the track out here and it was still in the dark. About 3 or 4 of them decided they just wanted to run out in front of me, and I thought it was quite funny at first until we got about 4.5 k's down the road and they just wouldn't let me get around them.
Late afternoon and the rain hits.
You just have to be right on your game all the time, and get pretty slippery, if you get a lot of rain in a short amount of time.
Lloyd starts to worry about the worst case scenario.
If the weather really goes backwards in the next couple of days, we could have lots of fun getting out of here. They could even possibly close the road, put an 8-tonne limit on it, which means we can't travel on the road at all.
Heavy rain, and now nightfall.
We're going to be bloody lucky to get back out of here.
Lloyd's reached the restricted zone. Here he'll break up his road train.
Just going to find a nice hard spot to drop me back 2 trailers.
It's a lonely job.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit damp out here. Everything's covered in a bit of mud.
Hitching and unhitching trailers solo in the dark.
Nice bit of rain to cool it down a little bit.
It's cooler, but more dangerous.
Last little bit of rain, probably almost 24 hours ago, maybe not quite, which dried out a fair bit during the day here, but now we're going through a fair bit of rain now. There's a lot of water sitting on the road.
He's in the centre of a tropical storm.
The road's sort of deteriorated a little bit.
Visibility is drastically cut. The road is hazardous.
Just making it quite nice and slippery.
Lloyd has a punishing night ahead.
100% concentration at the moment, just stay in the middle of the road best I can, stay away from the table drains. A few corrugations and patches. Won't take much, just one wrong little move. We could end up bogged. A bit of lightning around, and you've just got to be on your game all the time. Just the top's pretty slippery at the moment.
Weight restrictions have forced him to uncouple 2 of his trailers, splitting up his road train. It's turned out to be a blessing.
Would have been very interesting if we were towing all 3 through here, just with the water on the road and made it all nice and soft and slippery.
It's more than 200 kilometres of slippery, wet dirt road before Lloyd gets through the weight-restricted section.
Just going to drop our lead trailer and dolly.
It's taken 6 hours of night drive slog to get to this point.
It's got a couple of blocks of wood out, dropping it on the dirt, so just to make sure it doesn't sink.
Now, Lloyd has to turn around and do it all again.
Head back bobtail and head back and grab the other 2 trailers.
200 kilometres there and 200 back. Twice. To make matters worse, the road's so bad he's reduced to a 20-kilometre-an-hour crawl.
Got back to my second lot of trailers, the double. It's 11 o'clock on Saturday night. Back onto these two, pulled up a bit of air and wander around, check the straps and tyres and everything before we poke off and head back towards where our single trailer is.
After an exhausting run, Lloyd's ready for some rest.
Coming up behind the single trailer we dropped off earlier. Just sort of well up behind it here and time for a bit of a camp, I think. It's been a pretty long day today.
But before he turns in, there's one last thing he wants to do.
Just give them a quick FaceTime.
A quick chat to his partner Renee and daughter Kiara.
Hi. I'll see you in a couple of days, all right? When Daddy gets home? Well, I'm just about to head out, so talk to you tomorrow night when I get out back into reception. I love you. She's sort of, the last couple of months, just sort of got used to me not being there a lot of the time, and she finds it hard. Get used to me not being there and sort of almost forgetting she doesn't have a dad.
The next morning, it's Sunday breakfast in the wilderness.
It's nothing too flash, but gotta eat something out here, right?
Lloyd has another full day of driving ahead and another section where he'll have to break up his road train.
A little bit more of the dog running.
Ferrying the trailers back and forth to not break the weight restrictions.
Take two through and for about 100 k's and then come back for a single, which will cost us a bit of time in the long run, but it's what we've got to do.
The road is muddy and slippery.
There's a lot of water sitting on the road, and I think they've had a fair bit of rain in the last couple of hours by the looks. So, yeah, it's a little bit boggy, sort of struggling for traction in places, but we're still moving forward.
The load is taking a pounding, which means he's having to make regular stops to check everything is secure.
Everything seems to be all right, yeah. Nothing's really moved, so everything seems to be travelling bloody good this week.
At the back is the brand new boat that was loaded in Darwin.
It's got a new colour to it, yeah. Nice red tinge, otherwise it's travelling bloody good.
Soon after dark, the first signs of civilization.
Yep, just rolled onto the bitumen.
The moment Lloyd savours every time he does this run.
Yeah, it's a pretty good feeling. All the freight's still in pretty good nick. Good to finally be here.
Next day in Nhulunbuy, Lloyd has the unload to supervise.
Oh, just all the mud and the dirt on it and everything. Makes it a bit heavier. Beautiful. Yeah, no, you're right, Tommy, you got it. We got to put it all on and then it's good someone else having to take it all off.
And finally, delivery of that fishing boat that left Darwin all shiny and new. Now a very different colour.
Yeah, mate.
When I first arrived here and I turned around the corner, I saw this dirty boat and I go, geez, that bloke's not going to be happy with that. Whoever's boat's up, I just realised it's mine. Luckily enough, it's just a bit of bull dust on it. So.
After unloading the fishing boat, Lloyd has to pick up freight for the return journey. It's dark before he's ready to set off on the 1,000-kilometre run back to Darwin. Another 3 days' drive to get home. But when he gets there, the best welcome he could wish for.
How was school today? Good girl. Want to have a look at Daddy's truck?
Kiara might just be our littlest Outback trucker yet. On a farm 350 kilometres east of Perth, livestock truckie Joey Greenwich is getting ready for a run through the West Australian Outback.
Look at that. Bloody beautiful.
Joey's been driving trucks for 30 years, and like his dad, his granddad and his brother, he wouldn't have it any other way.
This truck driving in our blood, we put our heart and soul into this job. I don't agree with this, and it sounds funny, but an old bloke said once that truck driving's a dickhead's job, but a dickhead can't do it. But to me, it's not. My dad brought me up to say you're like a ship's captain if you're driving a truck. and that's your responsibility. And I think more along those lines.
Like any captain, Joey's responsible for the lives of his passengers. On this voyage, there'll be 750 of them. It's one of the most dangerous loads a truckie can carry. Constantly moving, high off the ground and with a mind of their own, sheep are unpredictable and unstable. Keeping the truck steady is essential. Rollovers are a constant threat.
If you hook into corners too hard or stuff like that, you know, like you'll have the risk of them going over it. And I've been very lucky, but I've seen it happen. I've seen a truck and crate go over. Yeah, animals have to get destroyed, and yeah, not good at all, you know.
With a third trailer hooked up, Joey's 37-metre road train is complete. It's 4 times the length of a London bus and can hold up to 800 sheep. On the ground, everything's good to go. But it's a different story above. The weather forecast is for rain. It's the last thing Joey needs.
The main thing is to get stuck, to get bogged somewhere.
If the skies open, his 43-tonne road train could sink like a stone into wet farmland.
That goes through the back of your mind if you're going in the bush in, in stormy country, you know, in stormy weather sort of thing.
And the news from his first pickup is not good.
Hey, Joe, you still up for a run?
Yeah, mate.
The rain's already coming down.
We might sort of have a little bit of trouble if it's a bit wet. You know, we've got to be able to get this thing straight to get it in, you know.
With just 12 hours to move 100 tonnes of sheep more than 650 kilometres, Joey's job's tough enough already. Getting bogged would be a disaster. In the loading area, the news isn't good. The ground is soaked.
That's bloody soft there.
While he's only got a small number of sheep, Joey's worried his 43-tonne truck could get bogged.
Well, we'll only have a couple hundred sheep on, but it's still, yeah, just don't want to get stuck. Yeah, just it is soft there, and my bloody oath it is.
If he's to load up, he'll have to cross the wet ground.
Oh, we'll give it a go over there, and we haven't got a lot of sheep on, so we'll just give it a go.
Joey needs to reverse his 37-metre road train up to the shed door that's barely a metre wide. He must be centimetre perfect. And the soft ground's making manoeuvring a nightmare.
Thinking on how to get straight and how to get back, and you've got to have good steering to back this thing, and I can't get real good steering. You can't wriggle it all quick enough, or you're sort of buggered, you know. Shearing sheds. I really got to go right down there to get straight, and I can't.
But with every metre, he's sinking further into wet ground.
We've got to go over a bit bloody more. Nah. Have a look at that. You don't mind mucking around, or do you? I just don't like getting bogged, eh? No, I'll just try and wriggle it a bit. I'll just have to go forward and wriggle it a bit more. Bloody hell, Cove. Get it this time. We got it.
While he's made it to the shed, the challenge now will be getting back out. Added to his 43-tonne road train will be another 20 tonnes of sheep. It's an exhausting job.
You've got to be pretty fit. If you're not fit, you'll get found out pretty quick.
And a risky one.
Sheep, to me, are more dangerous because you've got to be amongst them. I've been much more knocked around by sheep than cattle. Sheep are pretty cunning too, you know.
Now he faces the toughest part, driving his truck across a minefield of sodden ground.
Yeah, f***ing wet.
And his truck's 20 tonnes heavier than when it arrived.
It's a bit of an obstacle course around here.
Getting bogged at his first stop of the day would be bad enough.
We'll just go straight up there and near that tree.
Yep.
But if the ground gives way unevenly, Joey's truck could roll. Life and limb are at risk.
Haven't got stuck for ages.
Joey's going to need all the help he can get.
All sweet? Yeah, all good, mate. Oh, they'll be all right with that tractor in front. We hope. Yeah. Just worried now. Very worried. Yep, cool. Yep, we're in the shit. Yeah, well, we took a punt and it didn't come off.
While he's putting a brave face on it, Joey's up to his neck in trouble. He prides himself on delivering, and every minute he's stuck is costing him time and money.
I don't know, you just never gain time in this world, you just lose it.
The problem is, the tractor in front isn't powerful enough to pull him free.
Yeah, it didn't quite sort of cut the mustard, you know? So we're here.
Escape looks impossible.
You can't dig yourself out of this. You sneak it.
Joey needs a miracle. This 12-wheel, heavy-duty monster tractor could just be the answer to his prayers.
Well, if that doesn't pull us out, we're stuffed. Yep. Just take it steady.
But even this brute can't drag the road train free. It's time for Plan B.
Oh, we're just going to pull it back a bit first. Don't really want to pull the bull bar off this truck.
The back of the truck is lighter. The hope is the tractor can get some momentum and pull Joey out. The plan seems to be working, but there's no telling what damage is being done underneath the truck.
Yeah, you can drag something off underneath, you know. You can rip the bloody fuel cost line off for your fuel or any bloody thing, you know. Yeah, there, I reckon, mate. Hang on, mate. Hang on, whoa. This.
While he's out of the bog, Joey's right back where he started.
That'd be the fucking worst spot ever there. Yeah, I won't get through there, I think.
There's mud in all directions.
I reckon we're just going to have to take a punt and go that way.
All Joey can do now is set his wheels straight, cross his fingers, and hope the tractor can plough its way through.
Yeah, get into it.
While he might be out of the mud, now Joey needs to find out if the truck has survived the escape.
I'll just make sure nothing's off underneath. Fucking mud and shit everywhere. We'll get it off.
The news is good, but Joey's lost something just as precious: time.
Oh, if we weren't running late before, we are now.
And just as he's getting ready to move, there's another crisis. 2 sheep have slipped and fallen. It's the most common cause of injury and death on trucks like this.
Trying to look after you and your mate. They don't be cranky, eh? They're just climbing all over the other one.
It's urgent Joey gets them back on their feet now.
Get this old girl around.
Once the truck is moving, any fallen sheep could be trampled.
She's just made
If Joey can't get them up, chances are they never will.
Why the hell are you doing that to your mate? Oh, for Christ's sake, sheep. Get up! It's just a stubborn old sheep. Oh, bloody hooray.
70 tonnes and 2,800 hooves are now firmly planted on the deck. Joey can get back underway. He urgently needs to make up time. But up ahead, a slow-moving car is blocking the way. Overtaking is always hazardous, made harder with a live load on board.
Oh, he's just sitting on a bit of an annoying speed.
Joey needs at least a kilometre of clear road before he can commit.
If it's safe up here, we'll try and get around.
It's a relief to be past. But suddenly, Joey spots something in the mirror. A sheep has slipped. It's not moving.
Oh, just one with its leg out.
Another sheep has fallen. It's barely moving. Joey needs to rescue her before she's trampled to death.
One old girl sort of laid down and then got a foot stuck out there. They're just big, fat and awkward, you know?
Fortunately, there's no injury and Joey can get moving. But it's more lost time. By the time he arrives in Esperance, it's pitch black. He's delivering to a farm he's only visited in daylight via a different entrance.
I just don't overshoot it.
To help Joey, the farmers come out to meet him.
There's a tractor parked about 600 metres upwards. Can you see that?
Yeah, no, I can't see a thing.
Some of the sheep have been on board the truck all day. Joey's keen to give them some rest.
Well, there's never usually any signage or anything until you get right onto them.
I can see your lights keep coming, about a K to go.
Oh, bloody beautiful.
At last, he's made it and can start unloading. It's a stressful time for both trucker and farmer.
Normally you probably see a little bit of swearing in there, which has been quite mild this time. It's a pretty good indication everything's going well. Because normally it gets a bit heated if it gets too tough. From a duty of care point of view, most stockies would probably bugger the truck, unload it tomorrow. So Joe's been good enough to pull in there and we're unloading them.
After a tough day, it's almost over for Joey. Just a few sheep are left to come off. But suddenly...
Don't go under there. Get him! Get him!
A sheep has got itself into serious trouble.
She's so fat, she flipped the deck up. Now she's gone and got a foot stuck.
It's trapped between a movable floor and the wall of the trailer. If Joey puts any weight on the floor, he risks crushing the sheep even more.
I nearly got it, Troy. Yep, got a foot out, but now our other bloody feet are stuck there.
The only way he can reach it is from below. Joey has to crawl on his hands and knees in sheep excrement and try to lift the 70-kilo animal back onto her feet.
Yeah, got her.
Yeah, right. She's all clear.
Yeah, I've got to get out of here now.
She's the last to disembark, but every one of Joey's 750 passengers has made it safely off his truck.
Oh, that was bloody good, eh?
Well, the ewes have travelled magnificently, as you can see. They just look great. So credit the guys with these big rigs shifting them around for us.
For the ship's captain, it's been a gruelling day. But after 650 kilometres and near disaster, he's weathered the storm and made it to port.
Everyone was happy and no casualties, and you're always happy when that happens. You sort of think, well, that's your job done, and they're there.
In Alice Springs, Central Australia, 54-year-old Russell McDonough is getting ready to do what he does best. Pack up his mobile scrapyard and head deep into the outback.
Yeah, hi, I'm Russell from Alice Springs Metal Recyclers.
Russell's business is recycling, cleaning up the desert by turning abandoned cars into welcome cash.
We're just heading off on another one of our many missions that we've done. Probably on this trip we're going to do approximately 1,000 cars.
In all, it's a 900-kilometre round trip through some of the toughest desert roads on and off the map. For Russell and partner Nikki, recycling scrap is their business and their passion.
Russell had a dream of cleaning up a lot of the communities.
Russell's pride and joy is his mobile car crusher.
This is a car crusher that we built ourselves here in town.
He designed and built it himself from spare parts in his yard.
Russell explained exactly how he wanted to build it to me, and I always believed he could do it. He is a very intelligent man and a lovely man.
We built this crusher for a reason. We recycle the past for the future.
Fitting an entire recycling business onto the back of a truck is no mean feat. On board Russell's road train, 2 containers of equipment, his 25-tonne crusher, a 4-tonne excavator and a 17-tonne loader. At 50 metres long and 108 tonnes, Russell's rig is as long as an Olympic swimming pool and heavier than a Boeing 767.
As long as we're going in a straight line, it's not too bad. Backing it around a corner is a bit tricky.
After surviving 200 kilometres on the rough dirt, Russell's feeling lucky.
We're on a bit of a shortcut through to Nirrupi. It's going to save us close to 40-odd kilometres by coming this way. It's a lot narrower, but it's actually less corrugated because it's a lot less used.
The shortcut will save time, but it's also a big gamble.
This is actually a road that I've never actually been on. The biggest hazard we're likely to encounter is just washouts.
Washouts happen when heavy rain pools in the middle of the road. Put a wheel in the wrong place and Russell's 100-tonne truck could sink like a stone. His support crew, Josh and John, go ahead to check out the road conditions. And the news isn't good.
Yeah, once you get up here a bit further, there's a big lake in the middle of the road.
With no room to turn around, Russell's committed.
Looks like I might be able to find a bit of a hard track just around the edge of this one. Be able to go to the right here. Some wheel tracks that look like it's getting a little bit soft on the edge, but if you lose momentum or develop any form of wheel spin, miss a gear, etc., you can become stuck there. There's nobody else coming along to give you a hand. If that's the worst we're going to find here, we're doing all right.
While he's managing to keep his truck on solid ground, the battle's not over.
Right, we've just got another bit of water right across the road. Just approach it gently. We'll pop this diff lock in. Put it back one full one, and we'll just walk it. What I've learned, the biggest clue is don't get stuck in the first place. I've got to concentrate on listening very carefully to the engine. Any form of wheel spin or like sudden revving up of the engine, I'm going to have to let the engine die right down and just hope that I can lug on through.
Making progress is slow going. Russell's falling behind schedule.
All right, mate, no worries. All right, we got through that one all right, but I don't think there's going to be any more. But it's getting a bit late in the day.
Yeah.
So, would mind if you get a chance as soon as you can find some hint of a sign that says Nirrupi, see if you can get in there and see if you can get a key to the room for us.
While Josh drives on ahead into town, Russell will have to take on the washed-out road alone.
We're coming up against one of those stretches of water. It doesn't look like I can safely keep 2 wheels up on the dry. If I've got one up on the hard and one set drop into the soft, if it's too soft, it's going to put me on a hell of an angle. I'll just back off a bit just in case. And we're just going to walk through it. We don't need to do the big splash. Try not to create too much damage to the road underneath. because when this water does dry out, we don't need to have wrecked the road. Our concern is sometimes I might just be getting out of it and the heavier trailers are coming through it. So even though I think I'm clear of the woods, I've just got to feel it, and make sure the back trailers don't drag me down.
With washouts every few kilometres, progress is painfully slow and daylight is fading fast. In an area so remote, with no support crew, getting bogged now would be Russell's worst nightmare. The road has collapsed underneath the 25-tonne crusher. It's listing badly into a deep hole.
Just struck a bit of a disaster here. We were holding a fairly good line, but the front of the second trailer's just fallen into a soft spot and she's laid over on the side. Just running a couple of ideas through my head at the moment as to how we're going to pull it back up.
Russell's out of radio range. He's alone in the middle of the desert. With his livelihood turned upside down, for Russell McDonough, this is as bad as it gets. As darkness falls, he must unhook his prime mover and head for Neuroby. After a bad day, not being able to find his crew is the last thing he needs.
Where are you at where you drive in, or? Oh, for sake. Here, right in the middle, just driving around in circles.
Next morning, Russell heads to the council to work out a rescue plan.
And I'll chase up to see what we've got.
The Shire's agreed to lend us their grader.
Russell's hoping that between the grader, his loader and his excavator, he should have enough muscle to get the crusher out. But by daylight, the scale of the problem is plain to see. Even with 3 machines, it's going to be a tough job.
Fair bit of weight here to pull up, and the ground's a bit soft, so I'm not sure how much traction we're going to get.
Despite the challenges, Russell has a plan.
Done a good job, haven't I?
If we can get it up, then we'll maybe think about maybe going out backwards.
I'll try it, eh?
All right, no worries. Yeah, I think we'll get it out today, and hopefully we'll be crushing cars like we're supposed to this afternoon.
You know, it's not Russell's fault, it's just the road has just collapsed and let it go.
The crusher is vital to Russell's livelihood. If he can't get it out, his business will grind to a halt. It's all hands on deck. First, Russell moves the loader into position to push the car crusher upright. But there's a problem. The loader is bogged. Now, Russell's got 2 vehicles to rescue. Now, he's relying on a 12.5-tonne grader to pull it free. If he can't get the loader out, his mission to save his stranded crusher will be over before it's even begun. While the loader's free, he couldn't have picked a worse place to get stuck.
It's still soft here too, eh?
Yep.
Yeah. Only just looks dry.
It's just like soup underneath. It's a water course, and the water course is coming through here.
An underground river and weeks of rain have made this the bog from hell. It's time for Plan B. The grader will skim mud away from under the crusher to make it easier to lift upright.
we got a problem here, fellas.
Now the grader is stuck. This Outback crash is fast becoming a pile-up. Russell's running out of options. He decides to risk the loader one more time. But in this mess, the grader's going nowhere.
Still too wet.
Time for plan C. Build up the mud so the grader's wheels can grip. With pieces of wood, tree branches, finally, tyres. Nothing's working. Then, disaster. The grader gives up the fight altogether. Now the crusher and the grader are bogged to their axles. After 30 years of driving trucks in the Outback, this is turning into the fight of Russell's life.
Normally I'm the person that people turn to when they want a tough job done. So I'm the one that sort of got it in this position. So I reckon I should be the one to get it out.
The whole job rests on Russell's mechanical skills. Mr. Fix-It has done it again. While the grader's working, it's still stuck fast. As the team try and dig it out, the scale of what they're up against is clear. The ground is saturated. It could be up to 3 months before the road dries out.
I want to keep working. I've got to get it out.
The time has come for one last go.
Come on, Dougie, give it over. Come on, move it around. Hey, God, get up there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey. You can smile again.
Mind you, we're back to where we were this morning, but anyway.
Nightfall is just a couple of hours away. Russell's losing time and money. He can't give up. To try and right the car crusher, Russell takes another gamble on the loader in the soft mud. But the Outback nightmare goes on. The loader is stuck again.
We've never had something like this happen before.
With every move he makes, Russell's sinking deeper into more and more trouble. If he can't find a way out, his reputation and business will be ruined.
This is
If Russell's to stand any chance of escape,
Remember, if it's chain brakes, just don't be in a position.
No.
he must recover the bogged loader. With the loader free, Russell moves it underneath the crusher. His plan is to deliberately bog it, anchoring it to help lift the 25-ton crusher. Next, the grader moves in behind.
I'll get you to come up behind us and just push me a little bit. As well as lifting, I've got to be able to go forward. Not as if we've only got one go, but if we don't get it right, the whole exercise is going to take longer again.
If he can't lift the crusher now, chances are he never will.
Dougie's gone down.
Even with 30 tons of muscle,
Stop him.
the crusher is going nowhere. And now, 2 machines are dug in hard. This is trucking hell. The only machine not bogged is Russell's 5-ton excavator. It will have to haul the 12-ton grader free.
Just stop him before it sinks, right?
But the grader's only going one way, deeper into the dirt. Russell's team has no choice but to dig the massive machine out by hand. After 3 days of trying, his crushers barely moved an inch. It's time for a new plan.
I'm thinking of reversing tactics. Pull everything around here, put the loader up close and high.
Yep.
Instead of pushing, Russell wants to pull the 25-ton machine upright.
It's a shot.
He's called in every vehicle he can lay his hands on.
Deliberately bog this thing so it anchors the vehicle. Then when we're ready, I'm going to winch.
If this doesn't work, the crusher will be stuck here for months until the road dries out, breaking Russell's business. It's do or die. While the plan's working, suddenly there's a problem.
It's frayed up at the top there.
Yep.
If it lets go, it'll take us off at the knees.
Sure.
The crusher's hanging by a few cables. It's vital Russell stabilises it quickly.
We're close, right? We're not there yet. If I release the tension, she'll go. We've got to go and get shovels.
One mistake now, and he'll be back to square one.
We've just got to quickly scoot some dirt out from underneath the wheels that have come to the ground, and it's going to come down to level, and then we'll work on getting her out. We getting daylight there now, eh?
I can see the axle on this side.
Finally, the wheels are dug out and the crusher's stable, but it's still stuck fast. After 3 days going nowhere, the pressure's growing on Russell.
We're effectively 2 full days behind schedule. There's also trucks waiting on us. There's other communities waiting on us. It's not a nice position to be in.
Next, he wants to get the crusher onto a more solid footing.
We're going to get Doug just to try and move it just a little bit. Just see if we can get the axles to sink down and get it to come to more level.
A single chain will pull the 25-ton machine. If it's to hold, the grader must pull slowly and smoothly. If the chain gives way, it could seriously injure one of Russell's crew.
Yeah, with them going backwards and forwards like that, it's going to break the chain. See how much damage has been done here. Imagine if that had hit you, it'd be all over.
While the team gets ready for another go, there's a surprise in store for Russell. Business partner and wife, Nikki, has come to see the disaster for herself.
The crusher is our main form of income. We need that crusher.
After 10 years together, Nikki's seen Russell get into his fair share of scrapes, but nothing like this.
I'm just shocked. So I've got all faith in him that he'll get this out, for sure. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe the next day.
It's late in the day, but Russell wants to give the chain one more try. This time, he'll move the loader in close to lift the trailer while the grader pulls it out. But it's the same old story. The loader is bogged again. After 3 long days of fighting, the strain is starting to tell.
We've got it secure, but we've been moving around so much here, the water's just come to the surface and this loader's bogged.
But Russell's refusing to quit.
We'd promised these people at Nirrippi that we'd be here. It's up, it's just not out yet. It's only a matter of time. The grader, I have to hire that off the Shire. I've still got to pay my men. We're not earning any money. This is the part of Outback trucking that I don't do it for this, but it's an unfortunate risk that we constantly take.
The first job of the day is to dig the bogged loader out by hand. Russell and his team have been battling this bog for 4 days.
Get up, get up. Way.
They're exhausted and running out of options. If he's to rescue the crusher, Russell needs a stroke of genius. The 25-ton machine is built to take its own weight.
These legs that we built on here are for lifting the crusher off the trailer. We're going to try and use them to get it out of this bog.
If the team can build a solid base, they should be able to raise the crusher up and pull the trailer out from underneath.
Got it clear.
The crusher's up. Now Russell wants to try and pull the connecting or dolly trailer out from under the load.
Feeling a bit hopeful. I hope that it comes out.
It's a vital test of Russell's plan. If he's wrong, he's out of ideas. Finally, something has made it out of the mud.
We've proved part of it can move. He'll throw a little bit of enthusiasm back to the boys that I'm not just a complete nutter. We're progressing, just a bit at a time. We will march this thing out of here.
Russell McDonough and his team are now into the 6th day of their back-breaking rescue mission.
Really just the wheels I think we've got to do first.
It's time to face facts and make a painful decision.
Today, if we're going all out, this is it. If it doesn't happen today, we're going to have to just get what gear we can out of here and leave behind what we can't get out.
Failure today will mean abandoning the crusher, Russell's pride and joy.
And all the time I've been doing this, this would have to be my biggest disaster as such.
Once again, the plan is to raise the crusher up onto its legs, freeing the trailer underneath. But it's a risky operation.
Biggest danger is when we go out, we bump one of the legs. It could bend the legs and fall to the ground.
It's a gamble Russell must take if he's ever to retrieve his crusher.
At any point in time, if you see that trailer going to touch that crusher, you stop both of us. Right on.
It's now or never. Suddenly, the trailer's touching the crusher.
Good call, good call.
If they'd gone any further, it could have tipped into the mud.
That was one of our concerns.
The team must quickly get back on the shovels to lower the trailer's wheels. Finally, they're ready for one more try. If this doesn't work, it's the end for the whole operation.
About time. I'm ecstatic. That's a big step. We've been taking little steps, little steps, little steps. We just took one big one.
Next, Russell backs a heavy-duty trailer underneath the crusher, ready for one final effort at pulling it out. After everything he's been through, it's one of the biggest moments of his career.
This is it. We're going to get this crusher out.
She's out. She's been out.
Oh, unreal. That is such a relief to have that thing out. Yeah. Been a long time down in that hole there.
In 20 years of Outback trucking, he's never faced anything like it. But under huge financial pressure, Russell McDonough has battled his way out of hell. Finally, the Outback veteran can do what he does best: crush cars. A whole lot of them. "5 a.m. on a freezing winter morning in Tasmania. Brothers Ewan and Neil Stevens are about to begin a crucial run deep into the heart of the island wilderness.
It's a big day today. We've got a long way to go. It's 5 hours travelling in there. It's all hills up and down.
The Stevens family business is honey, and honey means bees. Millions of them. Twice a year, Ewan and Neil must move all their beehives between their winter and summer homes. Last summer, they took on a gauntlet of mountain passes and treacherous dirt tracks.
It is very tight squeeze. Sometimes I think we're mad bringing a Sammy down here.
To deliver 300 hives into the heart of a wild forest. Now, winter's biting hard, and the bees' food is running out. Over the next 4 days, the Stevens will brave freezing weather and brutal conditions to bring their bees home.
They have to come home now, otherwise they'll virtually starve because they've got no more food left on them.
It's a make or break run. If the boys can't rescue the bees in time, the family's century-old honey business will come to a sticky end.
There's a lot of effort goes into them bees, and each one of our hives is like our own family. They work well for us, so we've got to look after them.
The Stevens operate a fleet of trucks, many of them vintage. Today, Ewan's behind the wheel of his favourite.
I call her Old Faithful. She never lets me down.
Despite her years, Old Faithful won't be taking it easy on this job. Ahead, Ewan and Neil's trucks will face winding mountain passes, harsh dirt tracks, and potentially lethal black ice.
If you hit black ice, you virtually lose control of your truck, so you try and keep it straight, don't touch your brakes, start praying. I've had some nasty experiences in ice. I've been going down the road sideways, and I've got out of the black ice and the truck stood up on its left-hand side wheels, rocking, waiting to fall over.
Arduous and potentially deadly. For Ewan and Neil, it's set to be another epic battle for their bees. While the first 150 beehives are loaded smoothly, ahead lies a much steeper challenge. The trucks must climb a grueling set of hills, made even tougher by days of winter rain. Ewan will have to push his vintage truck hard to make the climb. Behind, Neil has a more modern rig, but he's taking nothing for granted.
Very steep in here. It's got a lot of loose rocks and it's gone fairly muddy and underneath. If you get stuck halfway up around the corner, you're going to be very awkward to back down out of it, nearly impossible.
They've reached the steepest point of the climb. Both trucks will need to give everything to make it up the hill. While Ewan's almost clear, Neil's in trouble.
We've got in the muddy.
The loose rocks and wet dirt have stopped Neil in his tracks.
Can't even make it spin. Too wet, slippery, not enough traction.
If he spins his wheels, he could dig into the dirt. Neil's stuck fast. His only chance, a 40-year-old truck. Ewan's ready.
You right now?
Yep.
If Old Faithful can't make it, both trucks will be stuck, risking the whole trip and millions of cold, hungry bees.
Not a little bit of help does.
When he gets a bit of traction, it lets me go a bit, and it's like a big elastic band. We help each other up there, me brother, and we help each other out.
Despite her years, Old Faithful's got the job done. Ahead is the loading site, but the delay has cost them.
We're running behind time today.
Nightfall and freezing conditions are just hours away. If the boys can't get moving quickly, they'll be loading in the pitch black. But the bumpy ride is making Ewan's passengers grumpy.
I reckon you'd get annoyed if I picked your house up and moved it too, wouldn't you?
And angry bees means bee stings. Lots of them.
I'll be getting pretty lively.
Today, the boys can expect to be stung up to 20 times. With the trucks loaded, the boys need to get moving if they're to make it home before dark.
It's a bit of a worry because I don't like being on these roads too late at night because they freeze on you.
While they're soon out of the forest, another hazard stands in Ewan and Neil's path. A tortuous mountain pass.
"99 corners in a mile and a half. It's all windy corners. There is no straight bits on it. It's quite steep in places. So you're down in the low gears all the time, with your foot through the floor. It's a challenge.
The tight, winding roads are a constant threat. But worse still, Ewan has no idea what's coming the other way.
These are blind corners, and you can't see around them, so you take it with caution and hope no one's coming. If they are cutting, you head for the ditch and hope they miss you.
Finally, the mountains are behind them. But it's late into the night before the boys arrive home.
We'll get up in the morning and go again.
Tomorrow, they'll head out to unload their bees on a remote patch of farmland. And with heavy rain forecast, they could be in for another hard day at the office.
We're here. Looks a bit wet for my likings.
The ground is saturated. There's no way they can risk taking the trucks into the mire.
I am worried about getting across the paddock. I've been stuck out there many times.
A forklift and a ute will have to carry the bees the final few metres of their journey. They'll need to make 2 trips. And the signs aren't good.
It's a bit wet. Hopefully we don't get stuck, but we could. There's no bottom out here. Once you break the surface, you go straight through it. It's just a big spew on it.
Sure enough, the ground's cutting up badly, and the bumpy ride's annoying the bees.
Stir them up a little bit, make them a bit crabby because of the vibration.
After crawling through the mud, it's a relief to reach the drop-off. But their heavy vehicles have chewed up the surface. Getting another load in will be twice as hard. But as the boys head for the next load,
Soft as anything, like butter.
I locked the 3 wheels up, but it didn't make no difference, so...
getting a tow from the ute is Ewan's only hope. Fail now, and the whole operation will grind to a halt.
Get away from that rope, Josh. If it snaps, it'll bloody kill you.
While they're out, hauling another load through this minefield will be a nightmare.
The fork's got quite a load on it.
With 24 hives on board, Ewan tries to pick another route through the mud. He's stuck fast.
We're bogged again. Go.
And this time, the ute and the whole team are powerless to help. Ewan's marooned, halfway through his biggest job of the year.
This just puts us way behind the 8 ball.
Back in the forest, millions more bees are waiting to be rescued. They're running out of food, with freezing weather closing in. If Ewan can't find a way out of this hole, he risks losing his bees and the family business. The forklift is critical to the whole operation. He must get it out. To escape, Ewan sent out an SOS to a local farmer. It's down to the tractor to pull him free. The front wheels are out, but the rear wheels jammed sideways. The whole forklift's tilting dangerously at an angle. With a top-heavy load, it won't take much to tip it over.
Unhook it, Josh. You have to go out there. Otherwise, it'll just swing over and tip her over.
They need to get the angle of the pull just right, or risk losing the hives and thousands of bees.
Oh, as it go everywhere, smash them to pieces, well, I would get hurt too.
Time for one more try. At last, the vital run is done.
It always feels good when they're in their spot. The stress goes out.
But it's just the halfway mark. There's another 5 million bees still to be moved. Tomorrow, the Stephens will take their trucks deep into the heart of a wild forest. With winter here, they're running out of time. And soon, they'll be running out of road. The dense wilderness is so remote, there's only one way in and out. By train. Ewan and Neil must load 14 tonnes worth of trucks onto 2 specially built rail carriages. The trick is, these carriages are exactly the same width as their trucks.
The main thing here is get your trucks on nice and straight, otherwise you'll clip the bridge with the trucks up further. To line them up and get them on there perfectly.
The slightest mistake could see the 2 trucks and the whole job come crashing down. With the trucks on board, it's time to take a unique railway ride. For 17 years, the boys have ridden this same narrow, winding path. But today, something's different. The tracks have recently been replaced.
This is a new section of rails. You just got to make sure they put it back in the right spot, otherwise you end up in the rocks.
If they haven't been laid exactly as before, it could spell trouble.
They're pretty close to the bank, ain't they? You wouldn't want to put your finger down, that's for sure. Wouldn't be nothing left.
After a nail-biting run, it's time once again to swap rail for road. While Neil's safely off, Ewan's 40-year-old vintage truck won't be so easy. His nephew Josh must help him out.
Fuel tank on this truck actually hits on the ramp, so I've got to get this board in the right spot to lift the front wheel up enough to clear the fuel tank.
Ewan's truck runs on petrol, not diesel. Get this wrong, and his tank could rupture, spilling flammable fuel everywhere. His petrol tanks collided with a rail carriage. He must carefully inch his way off. Get it wrong, and the fuel tank could rupture. truck safe, but the fuel tank? Intact. The boys can push on. The next pickup of 260 hives is located at the top of a steep forest trail. It's a tight, twisting gauntlet of crumbling wet dirt.
It's not been looked after. The road's deteriorating really bad.
For Ewan and Neil's trucks, it's a brutal challenge. For their bees, it's do or die.
The track's all grown over. It's not very good at all.
If they lose traction up here, it could be fatal.
If you slide off edge here, it's a sheer cliff oversized. You are cut off from everything in here if something goes wrong. There is no way out. It's a bloody nightmare in here. It's too steep. I'm losing traction.
While Ewan's struggling to stay on the road, ahead, Neil and Josh have been brought to a halt. But not by the dirt, the climb or a breakdown, but by this.
We've got no choice. We'll have to smash the lock on the gate. I've got to get in here. There's no way out. You're cut off from everyone, so you've got to deal with it.
As Ewan prepares to smash the lock, there's a surprise in store in the glove box of their borrowed four-wheel drive.
Yep. Oh, it's a big relief actually. There's only one key to get in and out of it, so we was just lucky it was in full drive.
At last, the boys have made it to their hives. They haven't seen them for 6 months. Now that winter's here, the risk is the bees will be dead. And the first signs aren't good.
We've lost about 30,000 bees. We can't get in here a real lot. We couldn't get queens back to them, so they died. We couldn't do nothing about it.
But fortunately, the majority of the bees have survived. Now it's time to bring all 260 hives home for the winter. The race is on to get loaded and moving before daylight's gone, when the temperature will drop rapidly.
I'll be happy when they're on the train and out of it, and we're driving off the train.
The trucks are carrying 21 tonnes of hives. On dirt tracks, it's a dangerous combination.
The hives are just sliding because the track's so rough, they're moving on the floor of the truck. Very steep going down here.
And today, there's an added hazard.
The moss in here makes the road very, very slippery.
The slick moss is like driving on black ice. It's not a case of if Ewan loses traction, but when.
It still scares the hell out of me because you got 21 tonne, and once you get that slide, it's very hard to get it to stop. When it takes off, it just goes. There's no warning to it. It's actually starting to go sideways on me. So I'm trying to get the wheels turning again to gain traction. The biggest problem when you do lose traction is where you're going to end up. Over the right-hand side, it's just a sheer cliff over into the river.
At last, the mountain is behind them.
It's always a nice feeling to be down here. My heart goes back to its normal heartbeat.
And the boys can head for a well-earned rest at a local motel.
Good night, Josh. Good night, Neil.
Good night, Uncle Huey. Good night, Uncle Neil.
Good night, Huey. Good night, Josh.
There's just one more drop-off remaining. at a remote patch of wet farmland where the boys will unload the last of their 5 million bees. After that, they're home free. But nothing on this run comes easy.
I'm going nowhere.
Within sight of the finish line, the boys are bogged.
We're stuck here at the moment, so we'll unload and get the weight off of her back. Not a good start.
Unloading the truck will make it lighter and easier to rescue. But as Ewan knows, ground like this is just as treacherous for the forklift.
You'll tip your machine over very, very easily. And I have tipped one of these over, and it's not a very nice feeling.
It's down to nephew Josh to try to pull the forklift free.
They want to pull him out backwards on the road, but the road's got a heap of slippery mud on it, so I don't reckon they're going to get any traction, but they might prove me wrong.
Fail, and it'll cost the boys yet more time and money. But Josh is right. Ewan's going nowhere. They must free the forklift. Time for one more try. The whole operation is depending on Josh.
Want to get away today? Nothing's going to happen. Come on, get on the fork. Go and pick the pallet up. Put your forks in.
And Josh's reward? A chance to show his uncle how the job should be done. It's a huge responsibility. A single mistake could cost thousands of bees and bucks. But Ewan's faith is rewarded. It looks like the next generation of Stevens is ready to carry on the family business.
He's got a good head on him. He'll tip a couple over like I did when I was learning. As long as he don't do it today.
Finally, the last of the 260 hives are off the truck and home safe for the winter. After 1,200 grueling kilometres on some of the roughest roads in Australia, the end is finally in sight. The Stevens have withstood the worst of the weather and hauled themselves through hell. Now, there's just one more bog to conquer.
Go.
Before it's home to Mole Creek, with another year's hard work done. Veteran trucker Steve Graham has been driving road trains through the Australian Outback for 40 years. But his biggest challenge is still to come.
It's a beautiful Sunday drive this morning. Couldn't ask for more.
From his home base in Perth, he's preparing to take on Australia's largest desert, the Great Victoria.
Once again, it's a lonely outback mongrel job. But it's outback trucking, dramas. And I'm looking forward to getting back out in the desert.
Normally, Steve takes only his dog Bella for company.
Come on, let's go. Up we get. We're on the road, girl. We're on the road. Let's go.
But on this epic journey, he's in convoy with his old mate, Si, who's no respecter of age.
Steve, I'm just going to make sure you've got your big pack.
Roger Dodger. Righto, mate. We'll settle down and we'll give it a bit of a run for a while, eh?
Steve and Si are hauling heavy machinery to a road crew on the far edge of the Great Victoria Desert.
Well, we're on the road to Junjunjara. 20-something years since Si and I were there last, and God, I've got some bad memories.
Back in the early 90s, Steve and Si got caught in a cyclone.
But anyway, we're committed now.
Floodwater stranding their trucks for 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's memories, and some of them make you grit your teeth.
Now, close to 3 decades later, history is threatening to repeat itself. The weather forecast is grim.
There's a cyclone hanging around waiting to come down and give us a bit of pain. And Si and I desperately want to get this load in and delivered before we get major rain out there in the desert.
With the tail end of the wet season lingering, Steve fears storms have flooded the desert road.
He says that huge rain the other day, huge rain. We just don't need water like that to have gone out where we're going, anywhere near where we're going. You just can't drive these trucks out on country like that. You haven't got a chance in hell.
That's definitely something to think about, how much rain they've had out the road. But you never know, it's trucking, isn't it?
As the trucks approach Kalgoorlie, black skies touch the horizon in every direction.
Last time the sky was like this, and there were cyclones around and thunderstorms, and we were out there for weeks, Bogged. It could be a bad sign.
Steve Graham's picking up 2 more trailers.
We've got 62 wheels hanging off the end of the steering wheel, 100 tonne, 53 metres long. Looks like we've got us a road train. We're ready to go Outback trucking.
The convoy's also gained another truck. Pat Reed is joining Steve and Si on their epic trek across the Great Victoria Desert, delivering a water tank to the remote community of Junjunjara.
That cyclone's been a big worry. It's off Karratha now. We'll cross the coast somewhere today. Within 2 days, we'll have rain out here somewhere, probably. So we will get moving to try and get in front of it. Come on.
See up the road, stag.
The thing with Outback trucking is you don't know what's in front of you. You've got to deal with what you get. This is the end of the bitumen coming up here, I think. Well, there we go. Back on those little things we know and don't love. A few corrugations coming through here.
The road's rough, but bone dry.
So far, touch wood, it's been a lovely day at the office. Road's good so far anyway.
Yeah, unreal. It's not going to get any better.
Further up the road, ominous signs of what could lie ahead.
It's been raining here, and it's just dried out enough now for us to have access, so we certainly don't want any more water on this road.
The last time Steve and Si drove this road, close to 30 years ago, they were stranded in the mud for 2 weeks. With clouds gathering on the horizon, it could be another difficult journey.
Hey, Steve, see the little white fluffies up over in the sky over there to the left of us?
Yeah, mate. That's, that'd have to be coming off that cyclone side. Yeah, scary, mate. It's been a bit more rain than what there was closer into Cal.
In the lead truck, Si's approaching the worst of it.
A little bit of slop coming up, get ready.
But makes it through. Pat's next in the water tanker. Steve is bringing up the rear. At 53 metres long, getting his 3 trailers through the mud hole is going to be tough.
Si's got 20 wheels to pull through here. I've got 62. Righto, here we go. Oh, we've got a bit of wheel spin there. She's not enjoying it. But once I get my drive through, which I have now, I'm feeling good about it.
The massive road train passes its first mud test.
I was worried about my pacemakers back there, but then I realised I was going uphill.
Are you trying to kind of say something?
That the pacemaker's doing a good job.
Oh, you're on it, mate.
Because I'm breaking the air for you, mate. Just getting sucked along by my power.
Size engine is a little bit more modern than mine, and puts out more torque. But I would like to point out he's got tiny little wheels there that are ready to give him an awful lot of trouble. So there's a little bit of to and fro going on here. Who's going to pull who out of the bog?
So far, so good. But news drops about an approaching cyclone, and it's all bad.
So I just flicked me back a photo of where the cyclone has come across the coast. It will break up and turn into a rain-bearing depression and drop a lot of rain. And I don't want to be underneath a lot of rain out here.
More rain means more mud.
Try to dodge this water with all your heart.
This doesn't look like much fun. You wouldn't want to be down in that hole, size right.
Already the track is falling apart.
Sorry, old truck, but you're going to take out a bit of scrub. I hope we don't get any punctures out here. I don't want to do it to you. Yeah, we're good, Si. It's always good to get through a puddle, but just looking at what's in front of us, this
Holy not good.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Up ahead, Si's worst nightmare. His fully loaded truck is bogged.
This doesn't look like much fun.
We'll get there, mate, eventually, I think, I hope.
Up ahead, ominous storm clouds gather from a rapidly approaching tropical cyclone.
That cyclone Veronica is looking really intense. I've got my eye on it. Could be difficult times here.
As Steve predicted, the small wheels on Si's trailer have come to grief in the mud. Si's call for help is answered by Al Marks, a contractor who's also headed to Junjunjara.
It's going to be fun all the way. What do you want to come and play with us for? You should have gone to town with the others, mate.
I could have been on the piece now.
Go forward a bit, bro.
All right, I'll go for it, mate. Come back a bit, El.
Yeah, not seem to be moving at all, hey?
Nah, I don't want to dig a hole here.
It wasn't as easy as what they thought. But then again, I've been 40-something years outback trucking. It's never been as easy as what I thought.
Steve switches to plan B.
All right, we're going to attempt to reverse out of this slight bog hole.
This time they've chained Si's truck to Pat's tanker. The extra muscle soon has Si back on dry ground.
Well, that went very easy.
One problem solved, but the convoy's still on the wrong side of the mud. The Brains Trust needs a new plan of attack.
We're going to try and run me through first because I'll put the deepest ruts in it. I'm the heaviest, but also because if I do it right, my back trailers will still be pushing me when I'm on the slippery stuff. Here we go, we're into it.
Steve Graham's axle deep in mud.
Trailer's pushing me nicely. I'm hardly accelerating. Those trailers are doing a wonderful job. Right, mate, I'll watch you in my mirror.
Si follows in Steve's tracks. It's second time lucky for Si's low loader.
No worries, mate. You good, eh?
Yeah, mate, all good.
This looks worse than the last one. The road's certainly not good. I said we'd be in there by tomorrow afternoon. It might be the following afternoon. This is going to be a steady operation.
If the equipment the trucks are carrying arrives late, it'll prevent a whole road crew from working.
It'll be what it'll be, but by Jesus, we don't want any rain tonight.
Mud is not the only obstacle between Steve's convoy and the community of Chunchunchera. The three trucks have been travelling alongside the Trans-Australian Railway, and now they have to cross it.
Oh, well, this is it. It's going to be fun getting over this railway line.
The crossing has a steep approach and exit.
But it's steep, so we've got to be really careful and make sure we don't hang up on there and stuff the bloody transcontinental railway line.
If Si's truck with its low-slung trailer bottoms out, it could cut the only rail link between east and west, causing major disruption.
If we scrape, we're going to have to basically skull drag them off the line and shut the bloody railway line.
Si begins to inch his way over.
I think there might be a train coming. Absolutely, definitely glad we stopped. Wouldn't want to run into that thing.
After the close shave with the train, Steve and Si are on high alert as they prepare to cross the rail.
Plenty of room there, off?
Yeah, 6 inches.
With low clearance on all the trucks, they could grind to a halt, dead on the tracks. The Trans-Australian Railway line is a 1,700 kilometre stretch of track that connects the east and west of the continent. Shut it down and no goods or passengers are getting through.
It's when you get across that hump that your troubles start. As you can see, his back wheels are clean off the ground.
Unreal.
Right, I'm about to drag all my lot up here. I better focus on this. Just giving up a bit of a run up here, side. This is really serious stuff you're trying to pull on here.
Yeah, trailer 1 is all clear. Trailer 2 is clear.
Right, just 3 that I'm worried about.
Trailer 3 is all clear.
Beautiful, thank you, Al.
With all 3 rigs safely across, the truckers need to find the bush track that will lead them out to the remote community.
Yeah, they're showing us this one here. Yeah.
One wrong turn, and they're in a world of pain.
Triple road train out here wandering around on these little tracks. You don't want to have to turn around. Turning around out here can be half a day's job. There wasn't a turn to the right here, was there?
I looked at that, but I doubt it. That other track wasn't used at all. This one's still being used, so...
Yeah, you're right. It's only a grid line or something.
Yeah.
Their only clue is an old dog fence. They need to find it soon to confirm they're headed in the right direction.
Often when you're out here in the desert and these tracks go on and on and on, you start to wonder if you haven't taken a wrong turn. And there is one rule of thumb I've always gone by, and that is keep going till you're sure. Till you find something you absolutely know can set you right or wrong.
Choosing the wrong dirt track out here can be costly, both in time and money.
Turning around is just often not an option, you know. You got to, you're splitting up and you're spearing one trailer after another out there into the bush.
After 2 hours heading dead straight, the track begins to bend.
About time we turned east.
Yeah, it made me feel a bit better inside.
We've just turned east, which is reassuring. We needed to be going a bit more east. And the side just tells me he's come into the dog fence, the vermin-proof fence, and that's where we should be. We're on the right track, we're on the right road. This fence was put in many, many years ago as a vermin barrier. Dingoes and emus, I think. Rabbits would have got through it, probably.
They may be on the right track, but the grim reality of this treacherous outback road sinks in.
I don't want to end up like this bloke over here, rolled over on my head.
500 kilometres of bone-crushing corrugations and truck-destroying washouts lie ahead.
Like this little mongrel here, you break your truck, you break your load, you break chains. If you want to be impatient, don't be out here. It's getting a very rocky and sway over some of these dips, and big balloon tyres, they get a hell of a sway up sometimes.
Lose a 30-tonne machine off the back out here, and there's no getting it back on.
It's the old story, I want to get the freight in, I don't want to be sitting out here broken.
You wouldn't want nothing bad to go on out here, there's not much help, is there? Looking around you.
Keep my eyes peeled. I've slowed down again, it's hard to make any pace at all on this track at the minute. I grabbed another gear, but it might have been too excitable. Got back to here.
Ahead, the corrugations give way to dried-up washouts.
If you hit them hard, they're axle breakers, these buggers up here, so certainly wouldn't want to hit them without you know that they're there.
The only way through is at a crawl.
Oh, gee, this is a trailer brake. That's a hell of a dip. There all the trailers are flexing and bending. All right, I think that's it. We won't get much more done today. It's near dark, and we're not going to get in there. I think we'll be about 60 kilometres, 50 or 60 kilometres short of it. It's been a long, long day bouncing around on these roads.
Just hours from the community, Steve and the convoy will have to camp here tonight and face the desert sun tomorrow.
This is the last run in, about 70 kilometres and straight into the sun, heading due east. Even the dog doesn't like it. It's going to be a painful first half an hour, I suppose. With 62 wheels on the ground, if there's something nasty there, there's a good chance I'll grab it. And so close, you know, it'd be nice to roll over the line without any more damage. Yeah, it's not much fun, sorry.
With every metre of road punishing the trucks, Steve regularly checks the battered trailers.
Would you believe it? Little wheels, I hate them.
One of Steve's 62 tyres has been destroyed by the dirt.
That other tyre.
I'm just jacking up to change a flat.
Even with 3 truckers changing a single tyre, it can still take an hour.
Well, there you go. He's got a wheel brace in his hand, so there you go.
Especially when only one is doing all the work.
Nothing's changed over the years, Si. I'm down here changing a bloody tyre and you were laughing at me.
I've earned my right, I think.
It's good having friends to help.
Tyre change complete. The truckers are finally on the home stretch.
Let me hide this shit. We're nearly in there. There you go. There's the 5 kilometre sign. It's good to see that. I haven't seen a sign for this place since I left Kalgoorlie.
After an epic 1,300 kilometre journey, the 3 trucks finally arrive at Chunchunjara. This remote desert community has just 200 inhabitants, and Steve's cargo of essential sanitation equipment is long overdue.
The community would be far better off for it. They'll be able to go to the toilet a lot easier, if you want to put it that way.
That's it.
Unreal. Mission success.
Si, thanks, mate.
Yeah, thank you too.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah, no worries, eh?
Let's make a move.
Righto, fellas. Good on you. You know, I can't help but feel we always leave a little bit of a legacy. The infrastructure that's here, the things that are here can only be brought here by trucks. Yeah, and fellas like us have got to be prepared to do it. I get a real sense of satisfaction out of that, a sense of achievement that we've done well. And of course I enjoy it when I'm doing it with good mates.